It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Time for the SCWA 50th Hump Day Book Tour. I'm your host, Maddie Margarita, here with Diana Pardee on tech. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m., the Southern California Writers Association turns our Facebook page over to a new author to talk about their books and their work. This morning, we are proud to welcome Richard Morgan. Richard joined the George Washington University in 2003, directing research in automotive crash safety, child restraint safety, and human injury in collisions. He became an associate research professor at George Mason University until leaving in 2014 to write full-time. Born and raised in the mountains of North Carolina, Richard enjoys writing about the history and unique character of that region. His goal is to give his reader a challenging and entertaining whodunit. Can the reader solve the mystery before the detective? This writer believes the perfect read entails relaxing in a comfortable chair and sleuthing for the truth. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Maddie. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, nice to see you, and excited to talk about your latest book in the series. So maybe we can start there. That's just coming out, right?
Okay, I have a picture here. I don't have the actual, I've ordered the book, which is called Cherokee Emerald. I've got a picture of it, and this is what will arrive. The green things that are sticking up out of the ground, they're the emerald. The story revolves around large emeralds, which are dug out of the ground.
It's a stunning cover in color. So I've seen the color version, so that's exciting. Now, this is the third, Cherokee Emerald is the third book in the series, correct?
Yes. Right,
and it's featuring the same characters, right? Harriet Roth and Dan Cannon, right?
Don Gannon, her right.
Don Gannon, I was close. Yeah.
Yes, close enough. I accept that. Don Gannon, her right-hand man, who is a bit of a bull, whereas Harriet Roth is the brains of the outfit. A little eccentric, well, pretty eccentric, but the brains of the outfit.
Well, it seems like they're always hunting for treasure, and unique treasure. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the storylines and how you find the challenges and obstacles that you put in front of these two interesting characters.
I follow the straightforward mystery format. In the mystery, usually there's a death at the beginning of the story, and there is a you don't know who the bad guy is. The whole mystery revolves around finding the bad guy. During the mystery, there are red herrings that are put in. This is Agatha Christie sort of things. Sherlock Holmes. I like to bring in as a red herring a little bit of history. Go back in history. In the Cherokee Emerald, it goes back to 1830 to when the Cherokee Nation inhabited what is largely Western North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and a good bit of Mississippi. Like, where was the first gold rush in the United States? I always thought it was California. Then I realized, my reading, it wasn't. It was North Carolina. The first gold it was in the colonial years was in the mountains of North Carolina. So it would not be unreasonable to find a large emerald in the mountains of North Carolina and have the plot revolve around finding that emerald. The state stone for North Carolina is the emerald. The objective, I think, of Cherokee Emerald is for you, the reader, to not figure out who the bad person is, to not figure that out. And so this particular book, I, I don't think you'll figure it out until about halfway through. And then it turns into a little bit of a chase to then find the emerald. The emerald becomes something that is insane, and must be found. And Harriet Roth has to step in to help find the emerald.
Well, what I love about the books is the setting. I mean, and the interesting things, like you said, that you bring in the history that gives your books a unique feel to them. I mean, or maybe depth is a better word. But people can hear the North Carolina in your voice. So what is it about that area? I mean, there are lots of books that are set there and in that particular area and in the South in general. What is it about that area that you think people love or attracts readers?
I remember listening at Southern California Writers Association to Doug Lyle, and he says they don't feed you in the South unless you could tell a story. And I think I agree a little bit with Doug. It's in the South, you just like to write. It's your story that you're building. The area, it is sort of like California, but it's not as high. Like the mountains are maybe 6,000 feet tall, maybe. Okay, but California dwarfs that. It's much bigger. But North Carolina is the mountains are lush, green, and you got we still got our bears there. So.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was reading some of the reviews for your books, and they talk about several of the reviews mention the pace of the book, how it rolls out at a comfortable pace, at a pace that's just perfect for the story. And I think that's one of the things that a great story is an indication of a great storyteller, you know, who's confident in their story, who can tell the story at its own pace and not be rushed or not have it be too slow, but just right. So I think that's one of the things that Southern storytellers kind of have down to a T. You know, you mentioned Doug Lyle, Pat Conroy. He's a little low country, South Carolina, I think, but I think that that's really present in your books. But I also think that your character studies are interesting. And I know that you've assembled quite an interesting cast of characters in your books. Do you want to talk a little bit about them?
I think when I started writing, it was Harriet Roth was going to be the brains, and she is the brains of it. But as time went on, it becomes a matriarch story, society. The strong characters in the book are all females. Harriet Roth has a cook, Taylor Plowman, and she's a short redhead who has the a Southern accent. It's tough to break through, to understand. I try to keep it to a minimum, but she's delightful. And then there was the character Carla. So Carla started out as sort of the sex object, I think, the short Hispanic lady. But she sort of changed over time from Crown Hunt, the first one, to Last Train to Danville, to Cherokee Emerald. Carla is playing a larger role in the books. Carla is growing. Don Gannon isn't growing that much, but Carla's personality is changing. She enjoys what they're doing, and she's starting to take over and grow. And I'm sort of interested to see what's going to happen to her. I'm excitedly working on a fourth novel, and I really want to know what she's going to do there. As a writer, Maddie, I think you're saying I don't consciously do that. I don't consciously do that. I mean, the the characters seem to do this on their own. The women started taking over on their own. It just
I love that you said you're interested to see what her path will be, because that does show that you really don't know what it is yet. So it's as much a reveal and a mystery to you as it is to your readers. So yeah. I think that makes it interesting, and the fact that characters are rolling out differently maybe than you had initially planned. Is that one of the things that makes you continue to write this series?
I would say that's true. I enjoy that. But there are two other males that provide the computer background and the fisticuffs, Mickey Plowman and Bruce Searcher. But there isn't that much fisticuffs in the story. There is, let's see, fighting, but the main thing is on solving the mystery, understanding, putting the clues together. I try throughout all three to be honest with the reader. The clue is important. If I don't change it, I don't fake it. The criticism, I think, Agatha Christie was that she would withhold the major clue until the very last 10 pages of the book, so you could not solve Agatha Christie's books. You have to guess who was the bad guy there that you were looking for, that you didn't know. But I like to leave clues that if you solve them, you can figure out who we're hunting, who did the dastardly deed.
Well, I like the idea of in Cherokee Emerald where you do kind of get an idea of who might be the bad guy. So the book kind of switches from a mystery to suspense from that point on, yes. Because then it becomes, like you said, the chase. So I think people, readers, can know what they're getting into, that it's more than just a mystery. And I think that the relationship between the characters, and by the way, the names just kill me. I just love the names of your characters. You can see that you've taken such care in developing them and creating them just by their names.
Thank you, Patty.
Okay, so we have Cherokee Emerald coming out, and then you said you're working on your fourth book. So how do you find these treasures that are out there, and how do you decide what's an appropriate treasure for Harriet and company to pursue?
I think I just read and talk to people. Like when I go to the Southern California Writers Association, when we used to have the meetings, and we could talk face to face. Which
we will again, hopefully. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking to people, ideas, and reading. That's where I pick up the idea. I think your brain just gloms. If you're a writer, I think your brain just gloms onto something. It just picks it up, and you don't know why. Let's see now. Crown Hunt took part. It relates to the empire that was in Korea. It was just the turn of BC, like 100 BC. I was in the grocery line, going through a magazine, and it had an article on the Showa Empire, and it showed the crowns that they had, which were very unique. And my brain just picked that up. Maddie, doesn't everybody work that way? They pick up something and they don't know how they did it or why they did it, but they've got it.
Well, I think everybody's going to be rushing to any writer who's blocked is going to be rushing to the store and going through the magazine. So thanks for that tip, Richard. Okay. Yeah, and you've given us a lot of good information. So where can people find your books that are interested? So we've got Crown Hunt, Train to Danville, and Cherokee Emerald, right? So far?
Yes. and they're on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. They're under the name, the writer's name is R.M. Morgan.
Oh,
Let's see, it turned out that before I wrote my first book, I went to the internet and Googled my name, Richard Morgan, and just so many things came up. I mean, there's so many writers and so many people doing fantastic things with the name Richard Morgan. So I switched to R.M. Morgan. So it's on Amazon. The pen name is R.M. Morgan.
okay. So people looking for your books can go to Amazon under R.M. Morgan and find them. We'll wish you best of luck with the release of Cherokee Emerald, and we'll look forward to book number 4.
Okay, Maddie. So
all right.
Thank you. Again, thank you so much. This has been fun.
Well, you know, I think you're the perfect person for our 50th interview, Richard. And I know that you promised to hang around and go into Debbie's room, which is currently open or will be open on Facebook in the Southern California Writers Association Facebook group. Anybody interested in talking about the book and writing can join us there. If you have questions or comments for Richard, please feel free to put them under the video. He's agreed to check back in. So again, thank you everyone for being here. If you'd like to share this video, please do. If you would rather watch it on YouTube, this video and other videos like this will be available on SCWA Writers Online, our YouTube channel. So until we meet again, please keep writing, keep reading, and keep enjoying SCWA. Have a good week.